Italy has a long and rich history, but wealth hasn't exactly trickled down evenly. In the north, factories hum and innovation thrives. Down south, the pace is a little slower, and opportunities can be scarce. This dramatic difference in wealth across regions isn't exactly new, but it's a puzzle with lasting consequences. Before we jump into the heart of Italy's economic north-south divide, let's rewind the clock a bit. While unification in 1861 did a bang-up job of stitching the boot-shaped peninsula together on a map, it turns out stitching together economies from vastly different backgrounds is a whole other story. Think of it like merging your messy childhood room with your super-organized college roommate's space. Clash is inevitable. Here's the thing. Italy hadn't actually been unified since the days of the Roman Empire, which fell apart way back in the 5th century AD. In the intervening centuries, the Italian peninsula became a patchwork of city-states, kingdoms, and foreign-held territories. This animated map shows you just how fragmented things were. The south saw rule by Greeks, Arabs, and even the Spanish, while the north fell under the influence of French, Celtic, and Germanic powers. This long history of separate rulers left a deep mark. Imagine the south, influenced by the spice trade of the Arabs, developing a strong agricultural focus, while the north, under French and Germanic rulers, embraced more centralized industry. It's no surprise, then, that even today, when you wander the streets of different Italian regions, you can practically taste the history. Southern cuisine whispers of Greek olives and fragrant Arabian spices, while the north boasts heartier dishes reflecting its Celtic and Germanic roots. The architecture tells a similar story, from the sun-drenched villas of the south to the grand Gothic cathedrals of the north. After the Roman Empire crumbled, Italy became a land of divide and conquer. The south cozied up to the Byzantines, while the north got tangled with the Lombards. This was the first act of our economic drama, setting the stage for separate paths. Fast forward a few centuries, and things get messier. Muslims, Normans, French, Germans, you name it, they ruled parts of Italy. The north, however, wasn't a fan of foreign domination. They formed city-states like Florence and Venice, which flourished during the Renaissance thanks to trade. The south? Still under foreign control, with a focus on agriculture. Central Italy became a buffer zone under the Pope, further dividing north and south. Spain eventually took over the south, solidifying its agricultural base. Meanwhile, the north, inspired by Central Europe, began to industrialize. Finally, in 1861, Italy unified. But some Southerners felt this unification, especially the forceful kind, actually hurt their development. The point is, Italy's a unified country today, but its history is a story of fragmentation. This long period of separate development is what laid the groundwork for the economic north-south divide we see today. So, we've time-traveled through Italy's fragmented past. Now let's jump to the present and see how these historical differences play out today. First up, geography. The north boasts a sweet deal, a sizable plain, perfect for sprawling cities and large-scale agriculture and industry. The south? Mostly mountains and hills, with flat land limited to coastal areas. Not exactly ideal for industrial parks. Climate matters too. The north enjoys a cooler, more temperate climate, while the south basks in warm Mediterranean sunshine. Great for tourism, maybe not so much for heavy industry. Speaking of industry, that's where things get really interesting. Italy's industrial heartland is, surprise, surprise, the north, with Milan leading the pack. The south has a few industrial centers, but they're pale shadows compared to their northern counterparts. Why the north-south industrial divide? Natural resources, not Italy's strong suit overall, but what little there is tends to be concentrated in the north. The bottom line, Italy may be unified geographically, but its economic landscape reflects a long history of separate development. The north's flat terrain, historical wealth, and proximity to markets fueled its industrial engine. The south, with its mountains, agricultural focus, and distance from key markets, lagged behind. This is just the tip of the iceberg, though. Get ready for a data dump. Let's see how this historical gulf between north and south translates into the Italy of today. The money matters. First up, GDP. The north is a heavyweight, churning out nearly half of Italy's entire GDP. Northern regions like Lombardy, Emilia-Romagna, Veneto, and Piedmont account for a whopping 47% of Italy's entire GDP. That's almost half the national pie. Central Italy, similar to the historical Papal States, sits somewhere in between. But look south, and the numbers take a tumble. GDP per capita paints an even starker picture. According to Eurostat 2021 data, Lombardy boasts a GDP per capita 127% of the EU average, while Calabria in the south struggles at a mere 56%. This translates to a real difference in people's pockets. The further north you go, the higher GDP per capita. The south, conversely, reflects lower wealth, jobs, and people. The economic disparity extends to the job market. The North, with its larger industrial base and service sector, boasts a higher percentage of jobs suitable for remote work according to the OECD. The South, meanwhile, likely has a higher concentration of jobs in agriculture and tourism. Population patterns. Let's talk demographics. The North is more densely populated, with major cities like Milan and Turin attracting residents. Foreigners follow the economic opportunities, with a larger share choosing to settle in the North. Remember, some of this data might be a few years old, but the trend holds. Infrastructure and development. The North takes the lead again when it comes to infrastructure. Think denser road networks, think connecting all those cities, and more robust railway systems. This translates to a higher Human Development Index, HDI, in the North, which factors in healthcare, education, and housing. Here's an interesting wrinkle. The South has a lower elderly dependence rate. This might be because of a younger population, many living in rural areas with a slower pace of life. In fact, some of the world's longevity hotspots are found in southern Italy. Beyond economics. The differences go way deeper than just money. Italy may have a national language, but regional dialects abound. The South is known for its stronger dialect use, adding another layer to the cultural tapestry. Religion plays a bigger role in the South as well, with a higher percentage of people identifying as religious compared to the North. A word on stereotypes. We've heard the whispers. Southerners are friendlier, Northerners are more efficient. Let's tread carefully here. National stereotypes rarely paint the whole picture. The takeaway: Italy's North-South divide isn't just about economics. It's a complex tapestry woven from history, geography, and culture. So, Italy, a land of stunning beauty, rich history, and a persistent economic North-South divide. We've explored the historical roots of this disparity, from the fragmented city-states of the Renaissance to the industrial boom in the North. We've seen how these historical differences translate into the Italy of today, with the North boasting higher GDP, better infrastructure, and a more developed service sector. But here's the thing. This gap isn't just about numbers. It's about cultural differences, social challenges, and the very future of a unified Italy. The question remains, can Italy bridge this divide and create a more equitable future for all its citizens? That's a topic for another video. All right, folks, that's it for this deep dive into Italy's North-South divide. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explainers on the world around you. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your experiences with Italy? Have you seen the North-South divide firsthand? We'd love to hear from you.